Many of these must-see places are not very well known, and you'll be astonished by some of the dramatic canyons, beaches, and rivers you will come across. The biggest problem will be finding time to visit them all. Here's a list of 100 of the most beautiful places in the Western USA, spanning from Texas to California and all the way up to Washington, Montana. Number 1. The Narrows, Texas. Along a 1,000-foot stretch of the Blanco River in the Texas Hill Country, huge cylindrical walls of light limestone shrouded with bright green ferns growing at their base hang 40 feet above emerald pools of water that are interconnected through an underwater network of caverns. This stunning canyon exposes an ancient coral reef, and many fossils, such as tiny coral polyps and calyces, can be spotted embedded in the canyon walls. While it's surrounded by private property, there are legal options open to the public to visit. Number 2. Palo Canyon State Park, Texas. Located in the Texas Panhandle near the city of Amarillo, this vast and picturesque canyon is believed to be the second largest canyon in the entire United States, behind the one and only Grand Canyon. It boasts some of the most dramatic red rock scenery in Texas and was also home to the Battle of Palo Duro Canyon, which marked the end of the Red River War and the exodus of the Great Plains Indians in the region. Number 3. CAPROCK Canyons State Park, Texas. Home to more stunning red sandstone, this park is more known for its bison herd. 80 descendants of the great southern bison herd roam here, and all because of the efforts of cattleman Charles Goodnight and his wife Mary Ann, who decided to save the last remnants of the Plains bison herd in 1876. Today, these bison roam in a semi-free ranging site, offering an encounter with these wild beasts usually only found at national parks in Wyoming or the Dakotas. Number 4. MONAHANS SANDHILLS State Park, Texas. MONAHANS SANDHILLS is located along the former Comanche War Trail, which was a network of trails where skirmishes often broke out between the Apache and Comanche Indians as they fought to secure easily navigable terrain and precious natural resources. Along with spectacular dunes, some up to 70 feet high, you can come across some of the Harvard oak trees, which are trees that grow only to a couple of feet tall and produce giant acorns, which were prized by Native Americans who once called this place home. Number 5. CAPULIN Volcano National Monument, New Mexico. The imposing green mountainsides of Capulin Volcano stand as a reminder of the violent volcanic processes that shaped New Mexico tens of thousands of years ago. One of the natural wonders of New Mexico, it's noted as being one of the most easily accessible volcanoes in North America. From its summit, you can sometimes see as far as Kansas before the horizon finally falls beneath the Earth's curvature. Just watch out for the swarms of hungered ladybugs who make their arrive back to the volcano each summer. Number 6. Chaco Culture National Historic Park, New Mexico. The Chacoan built large structures here which were called great houses and the complexes, and were so big that many believe that they were the largest buildings in North America until the 1800s. One even rivaled the size of the Colosseum in Rome. Unlike other cultures of the time, the Chacoan planned these buildings from the start before any construction took place. Such planning was necessary as some of these massive structures sometimes took decades and even centuries to complete. Today, this World Heritage Site, which was once the primary hub for Native American civilizations of this region, still beckons for exploration. Number 7. Beastie Badlands Wilderness Area, New Mexico. The Beastie Badlands, also known as Denazin Wilderness, is a vast 45,000-acre wilderness area in the high desert of the San Juan Basin in New Mexico. Once an ancient river delta covered with lush vegetation some 70 million years ago, it's now home to an array of fossils and otherworldly rock formations that were the backdrop of the 1977 film, Sorcerer. Number 8. Chiricahuua National Monument, Arizona. Standing erect like stone terracotta warriors, rows of towering gray pinnacles dominate green hillsides, each uniquely chiseled and sculpted into its own work of art at this place known as the Wonderland of Rocks. Once the home to a tribe of Apache Indians known as the Chiricahuua Band, these rocks formed by volcanic eruptions over 27 million years ago come in wide range of gravity-defying positions that will surely blow your mind. Number 9. Chocolate Falls, Grand Falls, Arizona. After monsoons and heavy spring runoff, the cliffs here transform a mucky hazard into a spectacular cascading waterfall known as Chocolate Falls that will leave any chocolate lover in awe. Number 10. Granite Dells, Arizona. Billion-year-old granite boulders rise like gray submarines from the middle of a lake at the Granite Dells in Prescott, Arizona. Here, an assortment of exposed bedrock, formed by a geological process known as spheroidal weathering, flank the still reservoirs where pink clouds stretch across both sky and water at sunset. Throughout the endless piles of prehistoric rocks, several trails climb and meander beside beautiful lakes, as there are no shortage of exploration opportunities at the Granite Dells. Number 11. Waterfalls of Havasupai, Arizona. Bright turquoise waters stream through red sandstone cliffs and pour over grand cascades at the waterfalls of Havasupai, one of the best kept secrets of the Grand Canyon. Via 10-mile hike, mule ride, or helicopter ride you can make your way to this gorgeous location and explore 5 different waterfalls, which pout into some of the brightest turquoise pools you've likely ever come across. Number 12. White Pocket at Vermillion Cliffs National Monument, Arizona. Swirls of red, yellow, and white drape the sides of this otherworldly creation, and on top, mounds of white caprock form an overhanging crust resembling cake frosting. It's the unmistakable and bewildering scenery found at White Pocket. Geologists are still slightly baffled as to how these formations came to be, and as you wander through the warped terrain it will be easy for you to see why. Number 13. Cedar Breaks National Monument, Utah. An assemblage of orange and white canyons, spires, and columns, contrasted with heavily forested ridgelines form a national amphitheater that spans nearly 3 miles wide and rises to elevations above 10,000 feet. Its cool mountain air is the perfect escape for visitors trying to get away from the summer heat, and it's also a great place to get up close with one of the oldest individually growing species of tree, the bristlecone pine, which can live for over 5,000 years. Number 14. Pando at Fish Lake National Forest, Utah. Found at Fish Lake National Forest, this massive collection of 45,000 plus trees, while vast and beautiful, appears to be nothing more than a large grove of quaking aspens. However, unbeknownst to the average observer, a complex network of underground root systems crawl through the soils, connecting these trees so that each tree is actually a limb of one exceptionally large organism. In fact, this creature called Pando, is believed to be the largest organism on the face of planet Earth and likely at least 80,000 years old. Number 15. The Subway in Zion National Park, Utah. At around noon, the sun sits above the tall canyons at Zion National Park and casts its rays at just the right angle, bouncing yellow light off the subway's cylindrical walls and illuminating an otherwise gloomy cave in a way that begs for exploration. The subway, tucked away in the heart of the Zion wilderness, is a natural wonder like no other place on the planet, where you trek through brilliant cascades, a bubbling creek, and even dinosaur tracks on your to discover this natural wonder. Number 16. Factory Butte, Utah. Although the lands stretching from Factory Butte's pedestal are dominated by mudflats, badlands, and a kind of desolate topography that offers little hope for vegetation, A spectacular wildflower bloom occasionally carpets the desert floor in the spring and turns an otherwise barren desert landscape into a flourishing sight to behold. And even if you don't catch this amazing bloom that only occurs a couple of times a decade, the beautiful crumbling bluish-gray monoliths here are great photo opportunities themselves. Number 17. Fantasy Canyon, Utah. Once covered by a large lake called Lake Uinta during the Eocene epoch, this extremely delicate place, also known as nature's china shop, is full of intricately designed sandstone formations that span a 10-acre rock jungle full of dripping pinnacles, wafery hoodoos, and twisted hollows. At sunset, this exceedingly delicate assortment of geological art awakens in glowing fashion to produce one of the most stunning natural creations in all of Utah. Number 18. The Little Grand Canyon, Utah. While not nearly as vast as the famous Grand Canyon in Arizona, the LGC, which is part of the San Rafael Swell, still impresses those who happen upon it and draws one in with its colorful cliffs and sweeping panoramic views. This alien terrain bears such a resemblance to the planet Mars that the Mars Society actually set up a Mars Desert Research Station in the area. But whether you're chasing Martians, stunning views, or ancient petroglyphs and pictographs, this hidden gem won't disappoint. Number 19. Homestead Caldera, Utah. A large mineral rock dome, the product of 10,000 years of mineral deposition, hangs 55 feet above the steamy blue waters of an active hot spring known as the Homestead Caldera. Staying a hot 90 to 96 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, these waters are the only place offering scuba diving opportunities in warm water inside the continental United States. At the bottom of this hot spring, which reaches depths of 65 feet, numerous random objects have been pulled from a 25-foot thick layer of sludge, including many coins and even firearms. Number 20. Fly Ranch Geyser, Nevada. Hot water, rich in minerals, spews from several small vents atop a large mound draped with clumps and streaks of yellow, orange, and red at this hidden gem found in the vast and isolated Black Rock Desert in northern Nevada. You'd swear its origins were extraterrestrial, but surprisingly this was created back in 1964 when geothermal energy tests went awry, forcing a powerful water source, along with dissolved minerals, to rise through the permeable soils and begin collecting on the ground surface until it developed into the structure it is today. Number 21. Placer Cove / Nelson's Landing, Nevada. Placer Cove, also known as Nelson's Landing, is a hidden gem in southern Nevada where thrill seekers hurl themselves off the cliffs of a small cove and into the clear green waters of Lake Mojave. For those not looking to take a plunge into the water, a picnic along many of the open banks of the cliffs, or simply walking the area and taking in all the great views of the area's fresh, pristine waters is also a solid option. Number 22. SLOAN Canyon National Conservation Area, Nevada. Created by volcanic action millions of years ago, SLOAN Canyon is home to so many petroglyphs that it's been called the Sistine Chapel of Native American rock art. Archaeologists believe that Paleo-Indians inhabited SLOAN Canyon as far back as 7,000 years ago and think that pueblos from the Archaic era are responsible for most of the petroglyphs found here, which total over 1,700 and are carved into over 300 charred panels of rock. Number 23. ANZA-BORREGO Desert State Park, California. Wrinkled badlands span a jagged horizon. A rocky creek runs through a cluster of palm trees in a hidden oasis, and in the spring millions of orange and purple petals overlay entire desert meadows. Such are the dramatic landscapes of ANZA-BORREGO State Park, the second largest state park in the continental United States. An often overlooked state park in the Colorado Desert, it encompasses more than 600,000 acres and is home to one of California's largest palm oases and striking scenery. Number 24. Carrizo Plains National Monument, California. Located in an extremely remote area in California about 100 miles north of Los Angeles, the Carrizo Plain National Monument is a 246,812-acre area that makes up the largest single native grassland in California. It's home to a vast salt lake, a famous petroglyphs site, and most famous of all, brilliant wildflowers that burst into life and carpet the hillsides in resplendent colors of purple, yellow, and green. This illustrious concentration of so many flowers on the slopes of Carrizo Plains led the famous outdoorsman, John Muir, to remark about this place that one footstep would press about 100 flowers. Number 25. Heart Rock Trail, California. Water babbles from a creek that runs along a dirt trail flush with Jeffrey pines, black oaks, and a rich panoply of mountain forest flora. At the end of this charming trail, a waterfall pours over a small rocky canyon where an almost perfectly symmetrical heart-shaped rock forms a small pool. Found in the Valley of Enchantment in Southern California, the Heart Rock Trail is only about 1 mile round trip and involves very little elevation gain, making it a great choice for families, beginner hikers, and of course couples looking for a less strenuous alternative for exploring California's beautiful San Bernardino Mountains. Number 26. Fossil Falls, California. The name Fossil Falls is a little misleading because you won't find any falls and the place isn't exactly a hotbed for fossils. However, rest assured, the volcanic landscape here doesn't disappoint. Polished clumps of charcoal-colored basalt form a canyon which from afar, appears to be nothing more than a messy pile of rocks. Yet, suddenly, as you move closer through the piles of vast geological history, a sculpted work of art emerges. Patches of brush dot the top of the canyon and as you peer into the gorge, you find murky green ponds settled into deep pits along its mysterious canyon floor. It's a rare setting that's made even more photogenic by the backdrop of snow-capped mountains and a deep red cinder cone, known locally as Red Hill, that towers formidably nearby. Number 27. The Seven Teacups at Sequoia National Forest, California. Snow meltwaters originating from high in the Sierras tumble down a staircase of 7 circular pools carved into a steep granite canyon in Sequoia National Forest. Known as the Seven Teacups and frequented by canyoneering and kayaking adventurers alike, these treacherous waterfalls spill at heights ranging from 6 to 40 feet. Their strong currents not to be taken lightly, the Teacups can be an exhilarating adventure for adrenaline junkies or simply a destination where hikers and photographers can delight in a great outdoor experience. Number 28. LASSEN Volcanic National Park, California. Rolling mounds, dotted with pine trees and smeared with blotches of red and charred yellow lay out before you from atop the summit of the cinder cone. These painted dunes are the result of volcanic activity occurring 300 to 400 years ago, a very short period of time on the geological scale, and are only one of several phenomenal highlights at LASSEN Volcanic National Park. Hidden in the interior of Northern California at the southern end of the Cascade Range, LASSEN is one of the only places in the world where you can find all 4 different types of volcanoes, not to mention a hydrothermal area basin with turquoise steam pools and bubbling mud pots. Number 29. Lava Beds National Monument, Modoc County, California. Home to a host of battlefields from the Modoc War, Lava Beds National Monument is a hidden gem tucked away in Northern California that brings to life the region's often overlooked volcanic history and displays some of the best preserved petroglyphs and pictographs in the country. Some of the brilliant sights here include lava tubes lit with red, magma-inspired lighting, an amazing sprout of bright green ferns in the Fern Cave, and the alien-like ice stacks found in the Crystal Ice Cave. Number 30. JEDEDIAH Smith State Park, Crescent City, California. Despite loggers destroying up to 96% of old-growth redwoods, There are still plenty of places to witness these spectacular trees located throughout Northern California. One such place is Jedediah Smith State Park, home to Stout Grove, where in the late afternoon golden sun rays fan out through a shadowy canopy of some of the oldest coastal redwoods in the country, offering you the kind of intimate encounter with nature that remains forever fresh in your memory. Number 31. Pfeiffer Beach at Los Padres National Forest, California. One normally looks up to the sky and the clouds at sunset for those unique shades of purple best captured at the coastline, but here at Pfeiffer Beach, you'll find those same swirls and patches of pastel purples and blues shining back at you, not from the sky above, but from the sands below as the cold waters of the Pacific wash over them. And if you visit near the time of the winter solstice, you'll be awestruck as sunsets literally burst through the golden doorway of Keyhole Rock. Number 32. Shark Fin Cove, California. Shark fins rising from the ocean don't typically entice visitors to come visit the coast, but this place is the exception. Here, a menacing dorsal-shaped sea stack provides the dramatic centerpiece for a scenic cove surrounded by deep inlets and alcoves. From atop the white bluffs, or through the shadowy windows of one of the sea caves below, you can admire this stunning byproduct of erosion that's earned this beach its name, Shark Fin Cove. Number 33. Bowling Ball Beach, California. At low tide, hundreds of bowling balls, ranging from 3 to 6 feet in diameter, line up in rows along the shore. From dinosaur eggs to visitors from another world, there has been much speculation over the years as to the source of these incredible formations. However, these massive spherical rocks are made up of sandstone and were formed when mineralized water seeped into the layers of sandstone sediments, causing these masses to harden. Number 34. Glass Beach, California. Thousands of tiny polished glass pieces glisten along the shoreline at Glass Beach, near Fort Bragg, California. Like rubies and emeralds, these treasures shine brightly among the beds of black and gray pebbles in which they lie. It's a sight to behold, and one that's been in the making for decades, albeit not always intentionally, as these shiny glass pieces are the products of waste dumping on the coast that went on from the early 1900s to the late 1960s. Number 35. Cove Palisades State Park, Oregon. Designated as a National Landmark in 2011, the 200-acre peninsular plateau known as the island is surrounded by dramatic cliffs that run 200 to 700 feet above the pristine blue waters of Lake Billy Chinook. These high cliffs have served as deterrent to livestock that would normally graze and devour most of the vegetation in the area, and as a result rare vegetation unique to the area has survived over the years, leaving the island at Cove Palisades as one of the last undisturbed areas in the entire United States for rare native plants including western juniper, wheatgrass and bitterbrush. Number 36. Thor's Well at Siaslaw National Forest, Oregon. Thor's Well, sometimes referred to as the Pacific Gateway to the underworld, is one of the most exhilarating sights along the west coast of the United States. During high tide or when the surf is raging from incoming Pacific storms, waves wash into a large hole, estimated to be around 20 feet deep, creating one of nature's most intriguing sights. A natural fountain that spews salt water several meters into the air and then sucks the water back down into its depths, creating a spectacular, and sometimes eerie, natural wonder. Number 37. Leslie Gulch and the Owyhee Canyonlands, Oregon. Situated in eastern Oregon and southwestern Idaho are the Owyhee Canyonlands, one of the largest roadless areas in the entire United States, covering 5 million acres. The entire area is full of canyons, deep gorges, more than 200 species of animals, rare flora, and meandering rivers that span for hundreds of miles. There are several different areas to explore within the Owyhee Canyonlands, but one of the most striking and accessible is Leslie Gulch, full of spires made up of tough rocks and rhyolite ash products from various volcanic eruptions that have taken place in the region dating back as far as 15 million years to as early as 100,000 years ago. Number 38. Cape Disappointment State Park, Washington. Cape Disappointment, where Lewis and Clark finally reached the Pacific after completing one of the most legendary expeditions in American pioneer history, is located at the treacherous mouth of the Columbia River. Today, it's known as the Graveyard of the Pacific, a name earned after almost 2,000 large ships sunk in and around this area ever since the early settlement years. One such ship known as the Vandalia, foundered nearby in 1853 and bodies allegedly washed up on the shores of an inlet now known as Dead Man's Cove. Number 39. Elephant Rock, Washington. On the often fog-shrouded shores of the Quinault Indian Reservation in Washington, lies Elephant Rock, an impressive natural double sea arch with an uncanny resemblance to an elephant, complete with eyes, large ears, and of course, a trunk. You'll need to be accompanied with a member of the Quinault to gain access to this beach, but the extra legwork will be more than worth it. Number 40. Dry Falls State Park, Washington. The skeletal remains of what was once the world's largest waterfall, 4 times the width of Niagara Falls, span across an area known as the Scablands in eastern Washington. Floodwaters that would have toppled 30-story buildings scoured these lands and rushed over the cliffs as fast as automobiles speeding down an interstate, creating the spectacular falls that's estimated to have been over 3 miles wide. Today, all that's left of this extinct natural wonder are barren canyon walls whose dry, volcanic rocks crumble down the same cliffs where the most powerful and magnificent waterfall of all time once poured. Number 41. Craters of the Moon National Monument, Idaho. Once visited by Apollo astronauts for training purposes, Craters of the Moon National Monument is a large area in central Idaho encompassing over 1,100 square miles of lava fields and grasslands. The park is known for its toothed landscape consisting of 3 lava fields which, in addition to being rich in early American pioneer history, display some of the most intriguing volcanic rock formations in the country, including many volcanoes and the deepest rift cave in the world. It's also a place where you can find fascinating vegetation like limber pine trees, whose branches are so flexible they can be tied into knots. Number 42. Bruneau Canyon Overlook, Idaho. At the Bruneau Overlook, thick rugged tiers of cemented volcanic ash rise over 800 feet from the canyon floor where the rock-strewn Bruneau River meanders through the bedrock. The view captures the Bruneau Garbage Wilderness, one of the most scenic segments of the desolate Oahe Canyonlands wilderness, and is one of the best photograph opportunities in Idaho. Number 43. City of Rocks National Reserve, Idaho. Spanning over 14,000 acres with some of the oldest rocks in North America, the City of Rocks is rich in pioneer history and geological wonder, where old wagon wheels and ruts can be found among eroded spires and monoliths that tower more than 60 stories high. Number 44. The Chinese Wall at the Bob Marshall Wilderness, Montana. Imposing, yet inspiring, the Chinese Wall soars as high as a 100-story building and stretches for nearly 20 miles along the Continental Divide in the Bob Marshall Wilderness in Montana. It might seem hard to believe that such a massive formation like the Chinese Wall could remain so unknown for so long, but when you consider that accessing this natural wonder requires over 60 miles of hiking through a true, deep wilderness where crossing paths with grizzly bears and wolves is a real possibility, you quickly understand that the intrepid souls who lay eyes on this marvel are few and far between. Number 45. Blodgett Arch at Bitterroot National Forest, Montana. Found at the western edge of Montana, Blodgett Arch is one of those natural wonders that would be on top of everyone's to-see list if it were only more accessible. Towering high above the tree line, this giant granite arch stands among jagged, dark gray peaks in the heart of the Bitterroot National Forest. It's believed that Ice Age glaciers which formed on either side of the mountain ridge created cracks in the rocks and that the glacial ice applied just the right kind of pressure to push at the center of the arch and create this amazing sight. Number 46. Makashika State Park, Glendive, Montana. The landscape at Makashika State Park, Montana's largest state park, is a prehistoric wonderland of otherworldly rock formations. Shiny bronze caprock crumbles down the fissured sides of gray badlands onto cracked soils, exposed cliff sides reveal excavated dinosaur vertebrae, and benches offer tired hikers resting points at overlooks where panoramic views stretch for miles. But one of the best things about Makashika is what's not there. When you visit this outdoor wonderland, you're likely to beat the crowds and have many of the rocky trails to yourself at this lesser-known state park that protects approximately 20% of contiguous Montanan topography. Number 47. Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area, Wyoming/Montana. Emerging out of the canyon walls like a battleship and rising over 500 feet, the towering cliffs at Devil's Canyon overlook may be the most stunning canyon scenery in all of the northern Rockies. Nonetheless, it's just one of the many extraordinary sights found at Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area, located on the border between Wyoming and Montana. It's an area so full of geological wonder and harsh terrain that if able to talk, it would tell endless stories of the struggle that Native Americans and early pioneers endured as they navigated their way through these treacherous desert canyons. Number 48. Sinks Canyon State Park, Fremont County, Wyoming. Water gushes over a rocky riverbed, bubbling and gurgling as it drops into the shadowy depths under the ridges of a limestone canyon and disappears into the abyss. This mysterious cavern is known as the Sinks and it's where the Popo-Aggie River enters before flowing through an underground labyrinth where it undergoes several mysterious changes before re-emerging about a quarter of a mile downstream and spilling into a deep green pool known as the Rise. Ranked as one of the best state parks in the country by National Geographic, Sinks Canyon State Park is a true natural wonder chock full of fascinating geology and history. Number 49. Fremont Canyon, Alcova, Wyoming. In the midst of winter, apricot-colored cliffs dotted with vegetation, tower over a tight bend on the snow-coated, frozen waters of North Platte River. It's one of just several extraordinary viewpoints along Fremont Canyon, near Casper, Wyoming. The area is most well known for its rock climbing and boating opportunities, but it's also a great place just to explore and capture some stunning canyon scenery, while taking time to ponder some of the area's rich frontier history. Number 50. Vedauwoo, Buford, Wyoming. Vedauwoo, known to the Arapaho Indians as the land of the earth-born spirit, is an enchanting recreation area full of billion-year-old granite outcroppings, many of which appear to be defying gravity with their peculiar poses. Interestingly, the magma composition of these boulders is identical to the magma underlying Yellowstone National Park, meaning that the boulders at Vedauwoo represent what the Yellowstone of the future will look like once its magma crystallizes and the overlying rocks are eroded away. Number 51. Dinosaur National Monument, Moffat County, Colorado. Dinosaur National Monument is not only one of the best places in the world to view dinosaur fossils, it's also home to some of the most striking canyon landscapes in the entire United States. Scenic roads, both paved and unpaved, went through the rugged interior of the monument, taking visitors past unique rock art, early 20th century ranches, and several stunning viewpoints, some of which look down over 2,000 feet to the Yamba and Green Rivers as they meander through these lush, green-topped canyons. Remote, desolate, and packed with ancient geological history, this national monument beckons exploration. Number 52. Colorado National Monument, Fruita, Colorado. In the morning, fog shrouds the banks of towering sandstone cliffs as tall, jagged spires slice through the ephemeral mist and soar like rocky islands floating among the clouds. If the dramatic sandstone cliffs form the heart of this monument, its spirit lies in the determination and willpower born from one man, the great Colorado trail builder and park ranger, John Otto, who devoted his life to preserving and promoting these exquisite canyon landscapes in Colorado. Number 53. Paint Mines Interpretive Park, Calhoun, Colorado. Purple, pink, yellow, and orange pastels coat brittle walls of clay inside a fantastical labyrinth of white-capped hoodoos. A small weasel tiptoes out of a dark crevice and into plain sight, sizing you up before scampering back into its lair without a sound. Remote, yet full of vivid colors and bashful wildlife, this kaleidoscopic collection of chasms, rifts, and slots, known as the Paint Mines, is unlike any other badlands in the country. Tucked away in the 750-acre park about 30 miles east of Colorado Springs, this fairly new interpretive park is one of the best-kept secrets of Colorado. Number 54. Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, Montrose, Colorado. The name sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. One of the steepest mountain descents in the world, Black Canyon earned its name from the limited sunlight that's able to shine through these narrow canyon walls, which at their narrowest point are separated by a mere 40 feet. Two spectacular scenic drives run along both rims of the canyon, and a number of overlooks and hikes offer one-of-a-kind scenic experiences to peer over immense drop-offs at the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, located in western Colorado. Number 55. Monument Rocks National Natural Landmark. Constantly named as one of the natural wonders of Kansas, Monument Rocks is a destination that often surprises people when they come to find out that it's located in the mostly flat state of Kansas. Monument Rocks, also known as the Chalk Pyramids, is an area where white chalk formations, some of which rise up to 70 feet high and take the form of awe-inspiring arches, stand clustered amid a flat, barren landscape. It's rumored that after rains, these towering monoliths gives off a salty, oceanic scent, a testament to their ancient beginnings under the sea dating back to the Cretaceous period. Number 56. Toadstool Geologic Park, Chadron, Nebraska. In remote northwestern Nebraska, a strange moon-like landscape can be found at a place not known to many people, Toadstool Geologic Park. Also referred to as the Desert of Pine Ridge, it's a fossil hotbed that's home to bright badlands, cliffs, and an odd array of toadstools, many of which resemble strange objects like shusp. Number 57. Culebra, Puerto Rico. Off the coast of Puerto Rico, the tiny island of Culebra is famous among those in the know as a pristine island escape. It has no big hotels, stores or fast food chains, but instead offers serene beaches, such as the gorgeous Flamenco Beach, world-class diving and snorkeling reefs, hiking trails and unpretentious local street food. Number 58. Burney Falls, California. While Niagara Falls might be the most famous waterfall in North America, California's MacArthur Burney Falls Memorial State Park is home to what President Theodore Roosevelt once described as the eighth wonder of the world. Burney Falls is 129 feet tall and its impressive flow is created by the combination of water cascading from the top as well as water bursting out of the face from underground springs. The area can be admired from above thanks to the 1.3-mile trail that encircles the falls. The area is also great for fishing, hiking, canoeing and camping. Number 59. Upper Peninsula, Michigan. This remote section of Michigan beckons outdoor lovers from across the Midwest, but it has a unique feature that many people might assume you can't find in the U.S. Michigan's Upper Peninsula borders three Great Lakes, Huron, Superior and Michigan, that have racked up thousands of shipwrecks through the centuries that you can actually explore. Lake Huron's Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary has almost 200 historic shipwrecks to see. Many of the Great Lakes shipwrecks are as shallow as 15 feet down, making them perfect for novice divers as well as visible by glass-bottom boat tours. Number 60. Asheville, North Carolina. No matter what you're looking for on your vacation, Asheville will have something for you. Word about this haven among the Blue Ridge Mountains has slowly been getting out, but it continues to be an unspoiled escape. Downtown Asheville is known for its food, art, music and brewery scenes, while the Biltmore Estate, America's largest private home, offers a historical look at Gilded Age opulence. The city lies along the Blue Ridge Parkway, one of the country's most breathtaking drives that bursts with colorful wildflowers in the spring and summer and foliage in the fall. Hiking, fly fishing, birding, foraging and more outdoor activities are all accessible from Asheville as well. Number 61. Napali Coast, Hawaii. Many sojourners to Hawaii stick to the Big Island, but there are plenty of breathtaking sights to behold for the bold who venture off the beaten path. The famous Napali Coast, located on Kauai, is a 17-mile coastal national park that encompasses sheer 4,000-foot cliffs, caves, waterfalls, lush river valleys and remote beaches. The area can be explored via kayak, catamaran or raft, while the formidable 11-mile Kalafoot Trail allows for expeditions inland. Some describe it as one of the best hikes in the world because of its unparalleled views. Number 62. Wallace, Idaho. While the state of Idaho is known for its potatoes, the city of Wallace is actually the world's largest silver producer and is the only entire town listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Besides exploring underground mines and learning their history, you can play on 1,000 miles of mining, logging and forest service roads that have been turned into the world's largest mountain bike, ATV and snowmobile trail system. Number 63. Fredericksburg, Texas. Nestled in Texas Hill County is the small town of Fredericksburg, a town founded by German immigrants that has retained its European charm but mixed in some Texas flair. The town has a quaint shopping area, as well as historical attractions such as the Pioneer Museum and the National Museum of the Pacific War. The fruitful region is famous for its peaches and bluebonnets in the summer. Grapes also thrive in Fredericksburg, which has become the second largest wine tourism area in the country just behind Napa Valley, California. Number 64. Suchitoto, El Salvador. While San Salvador might be the capital city of El Salvador, Suchitoto is considered the country's cultural capital. Suchi hosts an arts and food festival every weekend and lies along the country's flower route, a wildflower-lined road linking mountain towns with their own unique personalities. Visitors can stretch their legs on a hike to the striking Los Tercios waterfall, which cascades over hexagonal stone formations. Number 65. Apostle Islands, Wisconsin. The Apostle Islands are a group of 21 islands on Lake Superior off the coast of Wisconsin. While they're great for hiking, kayaking and camping in the summer, their true hidden gems are the sea caves tucked along the island's coasts. During the winter, the lake freezes solid and you can walk across for a must-see spectacle. The caves are dripping with frozen icicles and waterfalls frozen into ice ripples, columns and curtains. Number 66. Copper Canyon, Mexico. While the Grand Canyon might be the most visited canyon in the world, it is not even the largest in North America. Copper Canyon in the Chihuahua region of Mexico is actually a system of 6 connected canyons that are deeper, longer and span a 7 times larger area than the Grand Canyon. Tourism has died down in the region in the last decade because of factors like the global economic crisis and safety concerns, but the area is safe, uncongested and ripe for exploring. The stunning natural scenery can be seen by foot, bike, horse, railway or the world's longest zip line. Number 67. La Push, Washington. Immortalized as a setting in the smash hit vampire book series Twilight, La Push, Washington's beauty isn't fictional. Despite its Pacific Northwest location, this community on the Quileute Reservation has mild winters and balmy summers, perfect for exploring the area's 2 beaches and rugged woodland hiking trails and taking in sights such as massive fallen trees, sea arches and sea stacks, and flocks of seabirds nesting in Quileute Needles National Wildlife Refuge. Besides natural beauty, visitors can experience Quileute culture and dine on fresh seafood. Number 68. Taos, New Mexico. Less known than its neighbors Santa Fe and Albuquerque, Taos is still overflowing with adventure opportunities, stunning natural sights and unique southwestern charm. Taos is just south of UNESCO World Heritage Site Taos Pueblo, and the town's historic district includes Spanish colonial buildings. When not exploring the small town's dozens of art galleries or taking a pottery class, visitors can take advantage of the city's 300 days of sunshine a year by hitting up the nearby hot springs or going skiing, mountain biking, rafting, hot air ballooning and even llama trekking. Number 69. Dawson City, Canada. This city at the heart of the Yukon Territory's Klondike Gold Rush and preserves and celebrates its past. You can still pen for gold, slam back a cold one or play a round of poker in a saloon or catch a vaudeville show as you're transported by the area's frontier charm. Roughly 170 miles from the Arctic Circle, Dawson City is also a great place to see the northern lights. Number 70. Leon, Nicaragua. Despite attracting far fewer tourists than Granada, the city of Leon in Nicaragua still boasts historical architecture, authentic culture and high-octane adventure. The country's second largest city, Leon is the birthplace of Nicaraguan independence and is brimming with national pride. The Leon Cathedral is the largest in Central America, and its rooftop offers amazing views. The city is also in proximity to the Cañamas Cerro Negro, an active volcano that you can slide down on a sandboard in what is called volcano surfing. Number 71. Great Sand Dunes National Park, Colorado. Colorado's Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve is home to 5 dunes in total that stand over 700 feet tall, including Star Dune, America's tallest dune. These steep hills are ideal for sports such as sandboarding, sand sledding and dune buggying. Because of the park's elevation and clear skies, it's also a great place for camping out and stargazing. Number 72. Outer Banks, North Carolina. Off the coast of North Carolina lies a series of islands known as the Outer Banks. With a unique history, a string of open beaches and state parks, and proximity to shipwreck sites for scuba diving, the Outer Banks offer more than your average beach vacation. These mythical islands were where the lost colony of Roanoke disappeared, where the Wright brothers first took flight from Kitty Hawk, and where herds of feral horses, whose ancestors supposedly survived Spanish shipwrecks, now roam. The area is also known for its fishing and hang gliding opportunities. Number 73. Squamish, Canada. Squamish is an adventure playground in the Canadian province of British Columbia known as the outdoor recreation capital of Canada. Part of its appeal is that the area spans both ocean and mountains, which you can traverse in just 10 minutes on the sea-to-sky gondola that takes you up 3,000 feet. Visitors from around the world flock here to windsurf, kayak, whitewater raft, rock climb, hike and mountain bike. Number 74. Tikal, Guatemala. While Mexico's Chichén Itzá might be the most famous Mayan ruins, the ancient city of Tikal, Guatemala was actually the ceremonial center of the ancient Maya civilization. Tikal National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site chock full of marvelous temples, monuments and palaces, as well as ball game courts and squares for the roughly 100,000 former residents. After the fall of the Mayan Empire at the end of the 9th century, the city was lost to the jungle until being rediscovered in 1848 and finally excavated and restored in the 1950s. Number 75. Cache River State Natural Area, Illinois. You don't have to travel to the Florida Everglades to visit a southern swamp, there's actually one tucked away in the Midwest. Illinois Cache River State Natural Area spans 4 distinct ecological regions. It's home to 1,000-year-old massive cypress trees as well as hundreds of endangered species of plants and animals, which you can see up close on extensive hiking, biking, canoeing and kayaking trails. This little-known, serene state park also has fishing and seasonal hunting programs. Number 76. Big Sur, California. Known as the American Riviera, the Big Sur region of California's coast stretches from Carmel to San Simeon along Highway 1. The undeveloped, untouched seaside landscape makes for a gorgeous bucket list road trip. Sights along the way include the striking Bixby Bridge, endangered California condors, the purple-tinged sand of Pfeiffer Beach, majestic redwoods, and the cinematic 80-foot McCoy Falls. Number 77. Camden, Maine. Camden is known as where the mountains meet the sea, meaning it's an ideal New England destination for both land and water activities. This picturesque, underrated seaside town features historic buildings as well as access to Penobscot Bay, which has calm waters perfect for boating or kayaking. Wildlife enthusiasts can embark on whale and puffin watching cruises, while those seeking to experience the legendary New England turning of the leaves can see eye-popping fall foliage along the Mount Batty Auto Road. Number 78. The Ozarks, Arkansas and Missouri. This region of America often gets overlooked, but it's a natural wonderland as well as one of the best places to drive, hike or bike in the country. It has natural beauty, quaint charming towns, rich history and cultural attractions, such as one of America's greatest modern museums, the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art. Float along 150 miles on Buffalo River, America's first national river, which also has rapids for rafting as well as world-class fishing. The region is also famous for its amazing ancient underground cave systems. Number 79. Jekyll Island, Georgia. Once the retreat of American high rollers such as J.P. Morgan and William Vanderbilt, Jekyll Island, Georgia's smallest barrier island in the Atlantic, was privately owned until the state purchased it in 1947. It's now an accessible destination for families, history buffs and nature lovers alike. The entire island is a state park, so its miles of white sand beaches, salt marshes and scenic beauty are protected. The Jekyll Island Historic District is also preserved as a National Historic Landmark. Number 80. Manitoulin Island, Canada. Located in Canada's Lake Huron, Manitoulin Island is the world's largest freshwater island. This island within a lake also has lakes within it as well, some of which have their own islands. It's also home to a swimming hole at the base of the 35-foot waterfall. Altogether, Manitoulin is a unique, pristine rural retreat perfect for hiking, fishing, hunting, curling, skiing, snowshoeing and more outdoor activities year-round. Number 81. Valladolid, Mexico. Most visitors flock to the coast of the Yucatan state of Mexico, but there's a wealth of sights in the region's interior. Just 2 hours from Cancun is the colorful colonial town of Valladolid. The city hosts market with vendors and music performances in the Central Plaza every weekend. It's also home to some of the most beautiful of the region's famous sinkholes, or cenotes. Saucy Cenote and swimming hole is in the middle of downtown. while cenotes Keegan and Samula might be the most photographed cenotes because of its underground crystal blue waters with a national hole in the ceiling that makes a stunning natural skylight. Just outside the city sits the little visited Mayan ruins, which has a pyramid taller than the biggest in Chichen Itza. Number 82. Mackinac Island, Michigan. Ever since the Civil War, Mackinac Island, between Michigan's Upper and Lower Peninsula and Lake Huron, has served as a waterfront retreat for those unable to travel all the way to the ocean. A National Historic Landmark, the island doesn't allow cars or chain hotels and has preserved its historical architecture and charm, making a visit feel like traveling back to a simpler time. Work up an appetite for the island's famous fudge by enjoying water sports and other outdoor activities. Number 83. Grossmoor National Park, Canada. On the west coast of the Canadian island province of Newfoundland and Labrador sits the area's crown jewel, Grossmoor National Park. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, the area is a living example of millions of years of plate tectonics, which resulted in varied, dramatic scenery including glacial fjords, valleys, sheer cliffs, waterfalls, beaches and sea stacks. With the largest concentration of humpback whales on the planet, the area is also a mecca for whale watching. Number 84. Berlin, Maryland. Considered one of the best small towns in America, Berlin, Maryland, might not be a household name, but people around the world might recognize it as the charming backdrop for the films Runaway Bride and Tuck Everlasting. The scenic town is home to almost 50 buildings listed in the National Register of Historic Places that represent nearly 2 centuries of architectural styles. Relax at the beach or discover new outdoor activities at the nearby St. Island National Seashore, such as shellfishing or surf fishing. Number 85. St. Augustine, Florida. America's oldest city, St. Augustine often gets overlooked compared to other Florida destinations, but it has sun, surf and 42 miles of sand as well as a rich history to explore. Take in the city's Spanish architecture while strolling cobblestone streets and visit landmarks such as including the Castillo de San Marcos, Leitner Museum, Fort Matanzas and Ponce de Leon's Fountain of Youth. Number 86. San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. Named the 2017 Best City in the World by Travel Plus Leisure, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, also earned the honor of being named a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its vibrant Spanish colonial architecture and role in the Mexican War of Independence. Home to a cosmopolitan art scene and authentic markets and restaurants, the city is also close to the Atomi Pyramid and archaeological site Canada de la Virgen. Number 87. Cape Cocker, Belize. With no cars and no hustle and bustle, Cape Cocker Island in Belize is all about soaking up and playing in the natural environment. At just 5 miles long, the island packs in plenty to do, with prime spots for fishing, windsurfing, snorkeling and scuba diving, including the magnificent Great Blue Hole. You can also take a manatee tour at the Swallow Cay Manatee Preservation Site. Number 88. Hammondsport, New York. This cozy village in the Finger Lakes is overflowing with vintage, European charm and laid-back vibes, earning it the mantle of coolest small town in America, according to readers of Budget Travel. The area has a thriving winery scene as grapes are able to thrive in the New York climate. The Glenn H. Curtis Museum restores and flies vintage seaplanes, which you can watch take off and land on picturesque Keuka Lake, one of the few Y-shaped lakes in the world, which is also great for fishing, sailing, kayaking and more. Number 89. Gulf Shores, Alabama. Enjoy an affordable beach retreat along the sugar sand beaches of the Gulf of Mexico in Gulf Shores, Alabama. This lesser-known vacation destination has calm waters and tides that don't change very much, as well as 3 main public beaches with lifeguards on duty. according to TripAdvisor, making it an extremely family-friendly spot. Number 90. Cape May, New Jersey. Cape May is a posh East Coast retreat along the Jersey Shore. As America's oldest seaside resort, the entire city is a historic district thanks to its 600 Victorian gingerbread mansions and buildings. Take a carriage ride and enjoy the town's burgeoning food and wine scene after a day spent surfing, whale and dolphin watching. Number 91. Mendenhall Glacier, Alaska. Want to see a cool glacier up close? Mendenhall Glacier is a gorgeous, 13-mile-long glacier with some of the country's most untouched and unspoiled landscapes. It's just outside of Juneau, which also happens to be a hidden gem in the US, even though it's the capital of Alaska. Visitors come for the colossal glacier and stay for the cascading waterfalls, pristine lakes, and surrounding forests. It's a popular place for spotting bears, with hiking trails even closing occasionally due to heavy bear traffic. Though Mendenhall Glacier is stunning at the surface, much of the beauty lies below. There, you'll find some amazing turquoise-colored, crystal ice caves, which are accessible by kayak. If you enjoy hiking and want to reward yourself with epic views of icebergs and snow-capped mountains, add Mendenhall Glacier to your 2020 bucket list. Number 92. Block Island, Rhode Island. Known for its idyllic scenery and Victorian charm, Block Island is one of the best hidden vacation spots in the US. It's home to everything from dramatic clay cliffs and windswept beaches to historic lighthouses and rustic farms. Located just off the coast of Rhode Island, it's surprising that Block Island has managed to evade the crowds and remain a hidden gem in the US for so long. It's got the classic New England vibes of Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket without the hordes of tourists. In fact, the island hasn't changed much at all since the late 1800s, except for electricity and a few cars. Block Island is connected to the mainland by plane and ferry, making it convenient for day trips. However, those who stay overnight are in for a treat, as they'll be able to enjoy sunrises and sunsets in peace. There are no stoplights or big international chains on the entire island, so you'll feel like you're back in much simpler times. Whether you're into hiking, biking, shopping, or relaxing, you'll find plenty of unique experiences on Block Island, one of the best secret vacation spots in America. Number 93. Molokai, Hawaii. On the island of Molokai, there are no traffic lights, no luxury resorts, and no buildings taller than a palm tree. Instead, you'll find unspoiled landscapes and an authentic Hawaiian culture that's remained remarkably intact. Molokai is totally unique from the rest of Hawaii, making it one of the best kept secrets and hidden gems in the US. Molokai is best known for its rich cultural heritage. It's the birthplace of hula, a sacred dance and chant dating back 1,000 years. Though visitors come for the authentic Hawaiian culture, they stay for the epic landscapes. Molokai is home to the world's highest sea cliffs and longest fringing reef, as well as awe-inspiring waterfalls and valleys. It also has plenty of untouched and pristine beaches, making it one of the best hidden paradises in the USA. Molokai isn't for everyone. As one of the last Hawaiian islands that hasn't been overrun with tourism, it's fighting to keep its unique culture alive. So if you're seeking a tropical oasis with lots of beach resorts and clubs, you're better off going to Maui or Oahu instead. The locals wish to attract travelers who are eager to learn their story and experience Molokai like a local. If you're willing to forego modern conveniences and luxury resorts for rustic terrain and a culturally immersive experience, then Molokai is for you. Number 94. Devil's Tower, Wyoming. Located in the least populous state of Wyoming, Devil's Tower is one of the best hidden gems of the western United States. It's a sacred place for Native Americans, and it was established as the first U.S. national monument by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1906. Hiking is one of the top things to do here. The Tower Trail is just over 2 miles long round trip, with stunning viewpoints of the tower from all angles. There are 8 miles of trails throughout Devil's Tower National Monument. Number 95. Half Moon Bay, California. Home to some of the country's most pristine coastline, Half Moon Bay is one of the best hidden vacation spots in the U.S. It's tucked between California's Golden Coast and the Santa Cruz Mountains. Half Moon Bay offers a host of fun outdoor activities, including horseback and bike riding, sunbathing, camping, and fishing. HMB is also a great vacation spot for its water sports, such as kayaking, paddle boarding, and surfing. Any daredevils in the house? The Mavericks is an annual surf contest where surfers compete, sometimes encountering waves over 60 feet tall. In addition to these exciting, family-friendly activities, I was drawn to Half Moon Bay for its R&R. There are countless beachfront properties where you can stay and lounge by the beach, enjoy delicious seafood, and soak in the scenic coastal views. Luckily, it's a year-round destination, so you can plan a trip during any month and be able to partake in any of the activities above. Though just south of San Francisco, Half Moon Bay has somehow remained one of the best hidden gems in the U.S. Number 96. The Berkshires, Massachusetts. Why visit the Berkshires? This rural region in western Massachusetts is filled with so many fun, family-friendly attractions, pristine nature, and farm-to-table dining cuisine. Add to that its proximity to Boston and New York, and you'll wonder why it's remained one of the best underrated vacation spots in the U.S. Sightseeing is among the top things to do in the Berkshires. It's home to Massachusetts' tallest mountain, Mount Greylock, where you can overlook 5 states on a clear day. Kayaking, canoeing, and zip-lining are popular when the weather is warm, and skiing and snowboarding when it's cold. The fall is another must to see the intense foliage. The Berkshires also offers a host of unique museums, including the Norman Rockwell Museum, Hancock Shaker Village, and Massmoka. For the full Berkshires experience, you must also try its food. This region has some of the best farm-to-table dining in New England. Nothing beats comfort food from the fall harvest, that's for sure. Though popular amongst New Englanders, the Berkshires remains one of the best hidden vacation spots in the U.S. Number 97. Door County, Wisconsin. If you're dying to visit the Great Lakes region of the U.S., then Door County is the place to go. This quaint county in Wisconsin is one of the best off-the-beaten-path destinations for families any time of year. In the winter, Door County is a winter wonderland that gives you the feeling of Gemütlichkeit. During spring, the region comes to life with beautiful flowers, and in the summer, heats up with sunshine and fun lake activities. When fall rolls around, the leaves turn bright red, orange, and yellow, ideal for snapping the perfect Instagram photo. With so much beautiful nature, stunning coastline, and limitless restaurant and shopping options, there's always something to do in Door County. Number 98. Stowe, Vermont. A little bit of Austria with a lot of Vermont. That's the gist of Stowe, one of the best hidden vacation spots in the U.S. Stowe is known for its alpine scenery, which offers stunning backdrops for hiking, camping, and skiing. The Trapp Family Lodge, founded by the Von Trapp family whose story was featured in the hit movie, The Sound of Music, offers a beautiful blend of Austrian architecture and Vermont views. I thoroughly enjoyed staying there and would recommend it to anyone with a similar appreciation of this Hollywood blockbuster. Like the rest of Vermont, Stowe has a reputation for good beer, that is the Alchemist Brewery. This small, family-run brewery makes one of my favorite beers, the Heady Topper, which always merits a visit to get a free pour. Nothing beats enjoying a beer or two while soaking in the majestic mountain vistas. From snow-capped mountains to Austrian-style lodges, Stowe is one of the best under-the-radar vacation spots in the US. Number 99. Black Waterfalls State Park, West Virginia. Looking to chase some waterfalls? This state park has you covered. West Virginia is a hidden gem in and of itself, so it's no wonder that Black Waterfalls State Park is among the under-the-radar vacation spots in the US. At Black Waterfalls State Park, the star of the show is undoubtedly Black Waterfalls. This 57-foot cascade offers one of the best photography spots in the state. Other must-see sites in the park include Delacqua Falls, Lindy Point, and Pendleton Point Overlook. Home to countless outdoor attractions, including water sports, snow sports, and sightseeing, Black Waterfalls State Park is among the most underrated travel destinations in the US. Number 100. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Located at the gateway of the Great Smoky Mountains, Gatlinburg definitely merits a visit in 2020. This family-friendly, mountain town in eastern Tennessee is one of the best hidden gems and vacation spots in the US. From precious scenery to its adrenaline-inducing activities, outdoorsy types will love everything this town has to offer. Gatlinburg has so many fun things to do for the whole family, including whitewater rafting, biking, horseback riding, and ziplining. It's also connected to 600 miles of hiking trails, ideal for hiking and snapping photos of some of the state's most scenic landscapes. During the winter, Gatlinburg transforms into a snowy paradise with lots of tubing, snowboarding, and skiing. No matter when you decide to visit, you'll get a taste of the country's beautiful and rural core. Have you visited any of these places recently? Think we left a good one off the list? Share your feedback and suggestions in the comments. Thank you for spending time with us. Please subscribe and press the bell icon, so you never miss another update.